The lies landed in the trash with a wet thud. I froze, the faint scent of flowers lingering on my shirt. Jennifer didn't react. She rinsed her coffee mug as if nothing had happened. I whispered, I drove across town to get those, my voice cracking. She smirked. You should have driven to the vacuum aisle instead. Confused, I watched her drip mugs in her hand. You have people coming over tomorrow, Mark, not me, your circus, your cleanup. They're my family, but this is our house. Her laugh was sharp, humorless. No, this is your mess like everything else. Want it to look nice, grab a mop. I blinked. I wasn't asking for a guest house, just help tidying. Oh, I heard you, she snapped. Just like I hear you whining daily over some metal you replaced or folded shirts. Do you think you're helping me? Want applause for being an adult? My blood rose. I wanted support, not applause. Affection, gratitude. God, you sound like a lost puppy with coffee or sticky notes. This isn't high school. I shook my head. I wanted a thank you or at least respect. Don't make this about feelings. Buying cheap flowers doesn't free you from responsibilities. Something snapped. I work too. I cook, fix, pick up your dry cleaning. Twice a month, and you act like you rebuilt the Hoover Dam. I do what I can. Exactly. You do the bare minimum and expect a parade. I fell silent, knowing words might escape me. Her last jab cut deep. Stop begging for attention like a child. Maybe you'd actually get some. I swallowed. My bracelet remained in my pocket, my gesture now a joke. The petals in the trash curled at the edges. I was Mark, 38, IT at Lincoln High, hands smelling of keyboard dust and lemon cleaner. My once simple life of shared laughs and laundry had vanished. Tomorrow, we'd play happy couple for guests. The next morning, I woke before the alarm, the silence beside me louder than any sound. Jennifer faced the wall. No morning greeting, no warmth, just the rustle of blankets. The kitchen showed her absence. An untouched coffee cup, lipstick smudged. I grabbed the mop, turned on music, and cleaned alone. Floors, bathrooms, guest room. If she wouldn't help, fine. I wouldn't let Ethan and Paul see a pigsty. By mid-morning, sweat clinging, knees aching, I vacuumed under the bed when she appeared, sunglasses on, casual. My car won't start. Take a look, she said, arms crossed. I reminded her, you know how to call a tow truck. You're capable. She slammed her purse down. I repeated, last night made clear how you value my support. I'm adjusting expectations, want independence, congratulations. So now you're punishing me, she scoffed. You trashed a gift, insulted me, made me a whiny man-child for asking help. You always want a gold star just for showing up. And you want control without accountability, I countered. Her shock was subtle but present. I tilted my head. Maybe it's not the house that's messy. Maybe it's the way you treat the person in it with you. She blinked. You're the victim. I've had enough, I said quietly. Silence stretched, the tension suffocating. She muttered she'd figure it out, grabbed her purse, and left. I returned to cleaning, reclaiming dignity with each dust bunny. It wasn't a tidy house anymore. It was a clear line. Ethan and Paul would arrive soon. By 6, the house gleamed orderly. Catalog ready. From outside, all appeared normal. Inside, cracks were exposed. Jennifer, upstairs preparing, glided down later stunning, hair and dress immaculate. A contrast to yesterday's flower tantrum. Before we could speak, the doorbell rang. Guests arrived, warmth and laughter masking tension. I hosted while Jennifer stayed distant, her smile rehearsed. Her comments were passive, aggressive, subtle digs masked as humor. Paul and Mara noticed, uneasy. She implied life might be easier without me, a pin dropping. I remained composed, leaving the truth visible. I quietly began packing her things in front of the guests. Shock and disbelief flashed across her face. I'm serious. I said, you said life might be easier without me. Let's test that. I methodically packed, each item a statement, no more pretenses. Ethan and Paul offered polite silence. Jennifer protested, attempting to control narrative. I remained calm. Outside, she eventually left, barefoot, silent, the porch light swinging shadows. I drank wine, reflecting. Guests adjusted, tentative yet real. Mara observed my calm. Paul questioned the future. I responded, she won't know what to do without control. I've reclaimed my dignity. Overnight, The house settled into quiet truth. Morning brought silence, no cabinet banging, no muttering. I froze her cards, cleaned accounts, peace, a quiet restoration. Jennifer returned frantically, confronted the frozen accounts. I remained calm, boundaries not vengeance, her confusion visible. She left again, stumbling slightly. For the first time in weeks, I felt solid. That night, the envelope with evidence sat before me. Photo from restaurant, the other woman's life at stake. I waited, observed, made no immediate move. Control was mine. The game had shifted. The next evening, I returned to the scene. Same street, same porch light, same autumn wind. The house warm, children's toys scattered. Life lived. I waited until sunset knocked. Tan, blazer man opened. I showed him the image, Jennifer smiling, hands nearly touching another. His face drained. I made no threats, only clarity. One chance to end it tonight. The baby monitor cooed. He nodded. I walked away. Game over. Jennifer didn't yet know. Jennifer appeared at my door later, fragile, tearful, seeking entry. I stepped aside. She admitted loneliness, confusion, and love. I replied with clarity. She loved a version of me who always forgave, who endured silently. She tried to apologize, offer therapy, ask for another chance. I didn't respond immediately, letting the silence communicate the truth. I recounted her behavior at the restaurant, at his house, confronting lies with evidence. She faltered. Boundaries set, she stepped out. I felt whole, not empty. Divorce followed quietly. Courtroom sterile, gavel clicking, evidence irrefutable. Papers signed, irreconcilable differences. Freedom, quiet, solid. Justice doesn't roar. Sometimes it whispers. Back home, I sat, envelope in hand, considering the other woman, the children, the lives almost exposed. The photo burned, ash fell silently. Closure was quiet, unprovoked, deliberate. Peace returned, clarity in place of chaos. The next day, Lena tested me. Flirtation, performance, public humiliation. I remained calm, observant. Wine thrown, I didn't react with rage. Old self-provider, patient, restrained, had burned away. New objective, gather truth, leave with dignity, navigate chaos without losing control. Friends witnessed it, truth unmasked, silent, undeniable. Lena left stunned. I resumed my ordinary tasks, internally unshaken. Morning brought denial and silence. Lena stirred, casual, brushing yesterday's drama aside. I observed. She accused, rewrote the narrative, played the misunderstood victim. She believed it. I saw through the pattern, waited, studied, anticipated. Thursday evening arrived, a hesitant knock. I opened the door. It was Mark, eyes full of silent understanding. I reached into my jacket, slowly revealing the evidence. The story, the truth, the power in one image. His shock clear, he understood, one photo, one chance. Mark looked smaller somehow, like the weight of everything he'd seen and endured had compressed him into someone recognizable yet fundamentally altered. I stepped aside silently, letting him in. He didn't speak at first, just stood there, eyes scanning the room as if measuring the space for the ghosts of old arguments. Evening, he said finally, voice low, not confrontational, just present. I nodded. Words felt unnecessary between us now. The air carried everything that needed saying. He moved to the kitchen counter, pouring himself a glass of water without asking. The quiet hum of the refrigerator was the only soundtrack. I watched him, trying to gauge what had shifted in him. This wasn't the man who had packed his suitcase, who had drawn lines and reclaimed dignity. This was someone quieter now, tempered by what he'd endured. I saw everything, he said, eyes on the floor, then lifting to meet mine. I saw her, I saw what she's been hiding, and I made a choice. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, just clarity. I nodded again. The suitcase, the photographs, the confrontation, they hadn't been for spectacle. They were for truth, for Mark reclaiming his life from a woman who had weaponized charm and deceit. He leaned back, exhaling slowly. You know, people think closure is loud. It's not. It's a quiet decision to stop being moved by chaos that isn't yours. I didn't reply. I understood. I'd seen it in the way he'd handled the restaurant incident, the envelope, the deliberate restraint. He'd drawn the line, and now he walked beside it, unshaken. The room remained still. Even the clock seemed to pause. Then he spoke again, softer this time. I won't lie, seeing her with him, it hurt more than anything I can describe. But the thing is, it doesn't have to hurt anymore. I decide what I carry. Tonight, I carry nothing for her, nothing for him, only myself. I nodded, impressed by his restraint, his control. We didn't need commentary, moralizing, or advice. His actions had said it all. Dignity reclaimed, boundaries set, power restored to the person who had been diminished for too long. We moved to the living room, quietly sitting in separate chairs, letting the silence fill the space. Outside, the street remained calm. Leaves clung to the gutters, half lit by fading porch lights. Inside, the house no longer felt like a stage for manipulation. It felt real. Mark finally spoke, almost to himself. I think that's the hardest part for people to understand. Not seeking revenge, not proving a point, just stepping away and leaving the chaos behind. Watching it exist, knowing you're no longer part of it and feeling free. I nodded, knowing that truth, freedom isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet step forward, the careful reclaiming of space and self. He stood, walking toward the window, hands resting lightly on the sill. She'll come around or she won't. That's not my decision anymore. My decision is to be whole, here, now, without her choices dictating my life. And in that moment, the weight of everything, betrayal, manipulation, loss seemed to lift from the air. The house breathed again, not with pretense, but with honesty. Mark was finally at peace, and the story, as brutal as it had been, had reached its natural conclusion. He turned back, eyes clear and steady. It's done, he said simply, not for show, not for anyone else, for me. Outside, the wind shifted, rustling the leaves one last time. Inside, Mark sat back down, letting the quiet fill him. For the first time in years, there was no performance, no fear, no manipulation. Only clarity, only freedom, only him, and as the night deepened, the house, once a battlefield of deceit and resentment, became a sanctuary of truth.